So we're just
Yeah.
gonna kind of pop this off, nice and nice and easy. Take these training wheels off. So anyway, pretty much just gonna keep on rolling with what's going on. We'll see what happens here because I think when people start rolling up in, you can see like comments and stuff like that. If anybody's watching what they're doing, whatever.
Yep.
But who
Oh,
cares?
dude, the thing just turned. The thing just went all schizophrenic on me. Now look, it's yellow star. You
Working on
see,
the
must have said its safe word.
yeah, exactly, man. Working on it every day. So anyway, for anybody who doesn't know the channel, who doesn't know who I am Shine Dig. If you're familiar with my content, welcome to the channel. Tonight I'm going to be talking to a very old friend, one of the first friends of mine, Mr. Wright, which you'll see to my right, no pun intended. And we hope that this finds you well. Why I've decided to go ahead and kind of do this now is because there's been a lot of people writing in, a lot of people kind of asking different sorts of questions, and I'm happy to answer them all. And I think the best way to do that to get to know somebody is to involve somebody that's known them for a very long time. And Mr. Wright here, I've known since what, 7, 8 years old, roughly.
I think
Maybe.
it was.
Don't make it
I think.
sound so
I think
bad.
it was the cusp of double digits, possibly.
Possibly. Maybe we were in
Still,
the tens. Maybe we were
we're
in the tens.
41. So if we said said 10 years old, 10 years old, that's 31 trips around the sun, my
Hey
friend.
Barbara, thanks for coming. How you doing? I seen your message earlier. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. We're just gonna get into a few things that'll flow along with what's going on in the channel and what we've been up to. So thanks for hanging out with us and welcome. As he was saying, me to get to know me a little bit more, I brought in Mr. Wright, and the reason I brought him in is because when I was young, I moved around a lot. My family moved around a lot. There was a lot of, I guess, what you would say now is kind of like dysfunction. And now that I'm old enough to kind of understand dysfunction as I understand it, I am really grateful and thankful for the suffering and pain that I have endured because I'm fortunate enough to still have incredible friends in my world, not just in my. And just so we're clear, Mr. Wright is coming to me from about 1,500, I guess, miles away for all you American friends. Those up here in Canada, about 2,000. So, we're doing this reconnection thing in real time.
Time
Hey,
zone, time
what's
doing
up,
everything.
Nemo? Thanks for coming, brother. Thanks for coming. This is one of my very good friends from the early days, man. And y'all are my new friends, so I want to welcome y'all in. So what we're getting into tonight is a little bit kind of about those ties that sometimes get severed for different reasons. Maybe decisions that we've made, maybe things that we think in our own head that you can't just let go of, and maybe a phone call that you shouldn't make. But what was it, 20 years? Has it been like 20 years since like we before we started picking up talking again?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Honestly,
All right. So
15 to 20,
for
honestly.
this is the guy right here, man, who like first got that thought in my head that maybe, just maybe, no matter what your circumstance is, okay, no matter what you're dealing with, there's a possibility that you can overcome it, right? And more than there's a possibility that you could overcome it, you should definitely try because what's the alternative, right?
Yeah, the
And
Irish.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And for years, we kind of started out as a slow friendship. I'm a guitarist, as you guys know, if you follow the channel. This was the OG drummer right
Mhm.
here. This was the boy with me through all the noise. And
Backbeat.
through learning this technology, through learning what I've been getting back from a lot of all y'all, that connection of reaching out and talking to people, extend that into the real world as well, right? Because things go by so fast. Hi, I see all those highs coming up. Hey guys, hi, welcome. So for now, I'm gonna kind of let Mr. Wright take the floor. Let him tell you a little about who I am, because I think it's always easier if you do it that way, and how we
Uh,
know each other. So,
build up them bridges. Build up them bridges.
yes, sir.
Yes. Well, I can remember that faithful first day. You know, I come from a bit of a, you know, crazy life bringing with my parents and the divorce trains and the whole, my mom's always got just a class boyfriend on the go, right? So this current one, who was Kevin at the time, he had a brother, Ronnie, and Rhonda was the pair.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir.
down in Gunningsville, friggin' Point Parkish place, Riverview, New Brunswick.
Yep.
And Ronnie and Rhonda got two little kids there that are probably 3 or 4 years younger than me at the time. So
Mhm.
I'd be the role model, if you will, right? And I get there and we're just, flailing out like kids do. And Ryan was across the street, or actually, I shouldn't say that. He was beside us. And I don't exactly remember the first comments or so, but I just remember being outside, then him coming outside and just kind of like, oh, look, there's a kid that looks like my age as opposed to these two little rugrats almost, right? No, I'm just joking. They're just neighbors. Who knows how it was? You're all kids, right? But yeah. So we hit it off with some small talk. And and to be honest with you, I bet you I would remember what some of that small talk was, but I don't, because all I remember is just jumping into some sports, because that's
Yep.
what we did for a lot of kids. And didn't we pick up some baseballs and bats and
Yes,
gloves?
sir.
Just bats and balls, right
Yep.
there, straight up,
Bats and balls.
bats and balls.
Yep.
And gonna give it about 20 to 30 minutes on that bat ball train, and well, Ryan decided to show us his Babe Ruth style hit, smack that one of them freaking curveballs that my little cousin friggin' whipped at him there, and he hit that thing square on, and it just sent the baseball flying, just right there, top corner of the cheek, just an explosion of velvety red, strawberry filled friggin' blood. It was just epic, epic. We had like I just oh my god, the kid's like like just big scream of run into my family in terror, right? Like so bad that his like Ron's holding him like this, and he's like
Thanks, you guys.
leached out over, like, you know what I mean, like in tears, bleeding, like we gotta take him to go get stitches right now, and you're like, okay. And Ryan's like, I'm so sorry, like it's okay. And so, once the dust settles, they're gone. For some odd reason, I end up staying there, but I think that's because me and Ryan were hitting it off, probably.
Yep.
And then we head down to the old playground and exchange little tidbits of information that are tattooed. There's one thing that you said to me the other day, was the first thing that I said to you, right? And I didn't remember
Okay.
that. But I did, and that was just pinnacle of pinnacle of awesomeness right
Nice,
there.
Sharika.
And I'm not even going to say what those words are. I'll let Ryan say what those were, because
Well,
that was best ever. Because I can't take credit for that. I can take credit for it because I guess if I said it, but it just sounds so much better out of his mouth,
I don't know,
right?
dude. I think you should take it. I
You
think
know,
you should take it. Take
it's
it.
like it was like a Step Brothers scene almost, where it's like
Yeah.
friggin' do we just become best friends, right? But think of the Step Brothers as in like 10 years old and not Step Brothers, and being like, you know what I mean? Like, my dad told me if you smell a girlfriend's panties and they're bad, right? So that's not even
Absolutely.
a question, statement. And then it comes to the questions. It's like, do you like blueberry waffles?
Yep. Yes, I do.
Yes, I
Yes, I
do.
do.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Do you like
Uh,
Ren and Stimpy? Yes,
and I
I do. Do you want to have a sleepover? Yes, I do.
oh
And that
god,
is what we call friendship.
right? 31 years ago, right? That's just too good.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely,
it's
man.
so basic. It is so basic, right? And that's one thing that's always kept me and Ryan, I think, close to, no matter what anyone of us would ever have been going through at any point. I think there was never a judgment.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever.
We do know Nirvana. Somebody who is it? It's Sharika. Am I saying that right? Sharika? Do we know Nirvana? Do we know Nirvana, Mr. Wright?
Says Shakira sounds like swampy. Anywho, do we
Shakira.
know?
Shakira.
Do we know
Do
Nirvana?
we know a little Cobain?
Oh,
We may,
oh,
we may.
we may a little
Yes,
bit.
actually,
Might,
we do. We we
might have
we do. That was
things.
probably, I'd say, probably some of the first stuff we started jamming to. Unfortunately, when kind of for our age gap, we kind of got into that. Literally, like, I mean, that was what, 94, I guess, when he took us, when he had, when everything happened. And yeah, I mean, if you were a kid with an instrument at that time, I mean, I mean, at least for us,
I idolized the guy because he had wicked hair and wicked voice, let alone playing instruments. That was before I even started drumming. That was like some of the
yeah,
stuff that got motivated to learn an instrument, right? Because
boom,
I had terrible, terrible like ADD, and I like school was super hard for me.
yeah.
I'd love to do it again in my age now because I just would destroy it, right? But back in the day, I was awful, awful at school, and I was like the poster child of like this is back when the Ritalin and all that shit was just forming, right? So I had all the different varieties of that crap, and that shit didn't end up doing nothing really.
No, but you know, like
What was going on. So that it was actually my grandmother was my biggest inspiration, all that, because she was like, "You are so hyped up and hyper, like I love you so much. Like, what about the drums?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I did want to try an instrument." Yeah. She's like, "You might be good at them. You're moving. It's like you got your hands and feet all moving, right?" She's like, "Yeah, she's there, yeah,
and so, if any of you know the Muppets, if you know Animal,
oh yeah,
this is who you're
yeah,
talking to right now, Animal. And so, like, kind of coming back to it is that, like, how most of the relationships have started in my life, the ones that have lasted anyway, have been through meeting people, like, right, and typically they've been during a point of a real low, actually, like, usually,
yeah,
like, at the point when things were like, when you don't think they can get any better. And you know don't believe that, because for myself, I can speak for myself, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional, I'm just a person who's lived some life. um it's real easy to get stuck up in your own head and
oh yes,
forget about how important those little things are. Like, you hear people say often, don't let the little things build up because they'll become the big things. That's true whether it's positive or negative, right? So it's
yes,
like this
yeah,
whole YouTube experience with the people that I've met on here
mm-hmm.
really kind of like blew the oxygen back onto that flame to, like, okay, this is wicked cool what we're doing right now. The fact that you guys are leaving hearts and all sorts of stuff, is really cool that we can do this, and I get
It
to
is.
talk to a
I
person
like.
that's been really big in my life and bringing me to where I'm at to do what I do and to continue doing what we do. And sometimes, if not most times, that I found that the lasting things are found in tragedy. Like, not to be a hopeless romantic,
No,
but
nope, nope.
you know,
That's a very very real statement right there. It really is, right? Because
yep,
it brings out the worst in people, but then at the end of the day, it almost brings out the good because you take away all of that bad. Because anytime anyone passes or something, it's always a tragedy in a certain sense, especially if it's an accident, i.e., one's own life taken or a car accident, for example,
yeah,
right?
yeah, man, yeah.
And you could think of that person and think of maybe the worst times ever, and it's almost like it's just a blurb on a scale, and then just a flood of all these good feelings back, all the good moments that you've had, and little things like whether it's down to something they wore or something they said or a comment or whatever that just sticks right in your brain like a tattoo almost, right? It's just right there, and you can't get
Yeah,
it over and over, right?
absolutely, man. And like, and like, it's wild because, like, I know, like, we were having a kind of a pre-discussion before we came up here and decided to fire this off. And we won't name names or anything like that, but there was another guy that was very, tight with the clique, I guess, that we rolled with. And recently, unfortunately, his life has come to an end. And that was and has been a position that, like, I get a lot of y'all are in, man. Like the struggle is real. Everybody's dealing with something different. I struggled with substance mental health for years. And a lot of that came from chasing something and not understanding what I was chasing. And also making decisions that now that I'm old enough to understand weren't the best decisions. You got to understand that people come into your life. Hey, Snapback, how you doing? Um, all the time, and they're going to come and go. And really, the best thing you can do, as best as you can do it, is make an assessment to, is this person here to bring me up, or are they here to bring me down? Are they
Yeah.
here to take something from me, or are they here for me to gain something from me? And something that I heard years ago, that which I wish I would have like actually processed, was that
Mhm.
you should meet people at your level or above, right? And that's not a condescending thing. It's because if you're meeting people at your level or above, you're learning and gaining. If you're doing
Yeah.
anything less, you're falling behind. So how do I help somebody else up? How do I realize the importance of the all of this kind of, inner and
Yeah.
outer relationships?
Course. How do I turn an irrational decision to a rational one?
Well, how do you do that, right? Like
It's not. There's no guidelines and no book and no recipe for any of that. Like that's just the experience, trial and error.
absolutely,
And
Miles, man.
error by trial is like I always used to hate to fail theoretically, but I almost enthralled by it sometimes because it's like, oh my god, I did this wrong. Oh,
Yeah.
shitty. I feel bad about it, but I'm like that means I get to like relive it. So like I'm gonna just make this thing my bitch.
Well, and like that, the thing, yeah. like and that the thing of it is like, like that's the option you're left with, right? It's like, okay, I've been knocked down, and
Fighter.
you can go, like what they used to say back in the day, we play sports, right? Walk it off. You can walk it off. Get up, walk
Oh
it
god,
off,
it's all that. Right? The kids are so soft. So true though. Yeah, exactly.
right? But it's like,
Bones protruding out of your leg. Just walk it off.
yeah, walk it off, walk it off.
I
But
don't know,
but
coach.
there's a lot that carries with that, right? Because it's like, all right, well, what's worth carrying and what's worth walking off, right? Like
Yeah.
what's worth learning from, what's worth investing into, which part of this should I like lean back off, and which part should like I really press the gas on. And that, like, for me, has always come from the same place. It's come from here and here, right?
Yeah.
Not always at the same time. Like that took some time to get the timing down on, right? But when you can like bring both of them to here, then I find I'm moving in the right direction. And typically my own worst enemy is myself, right? Because, okay, well, if I do this and this person, that used to bug me a lot, man. That held me back from doing so many things. Like, really, like from really fully committing, which then just like fueled this rage. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
was good for nobody and cost like 20 years of my life. So it's like the whole idea behind this for me has always been the same as the first song that we ever wrote together, was like, if one person hears this and it saves them a minute or makes them feel anything, well, then it's
Mm.
entirely worth doing. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like a dog attack is happening
Something going on out there.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It's
Woo!
happening in real time. That's rare. That's rare for around here. It's not rare. But yeah,
That
man.
doesn't
So
does it not happen in Quebec? No.
no, 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 not so much, not so much. But anyway, man. But yeah, so kind of on like the whole in and outs of things, like I know that you guys see me say this a lot. If you follow any of the posts, if you see the posts, if you don't see the posts, this is your first time here. If you got people in your life that you care about, and you haven't talked to them in a minute, and I'm not saying that everybody is worth calling up and ringing them up, but I am saying it's worth taking a minute to do personal inventory and say, hey, maybe this is worth reinvestigating, or better yet, why did I ever stop doing this?
Yeah.
Because things get going fast. And like when they get going fast, man, like
Mm.
I
Mind
think that
control.
ties right
Mhm.
into, people are like, oh, time goes faster as I get older. Yeah, I get that, man, because like
You've
once
been
you
around for
yeah, exactly,
that.
dude. Yeah.
Time explodes, especially at our age now.
Well, that's
But
it. So what
it's
do you want to do with what you got left, right? Do you want to sit down and just keep like kind of and
keep
and
going.
again, trust me, like I'm not saying this in any kind of condescending or minimizing way. I'm saying this straight from the heart. There's different types of people in the world. We all work differently, but that doesn't mean we don't have things in common. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you should stop yourself from taking that leap, because the only thing really I find that's been worse than that is to not take it, or to take it for somebody else's benefit, right? Make sure that it's for
point,
yours,
good
because
point.
if it's not, man, like it gets heavy quick. And the thing with mental stress,
Oof.
and I thought about this the other day because a person quite close to me, I worked in clinics for a few years after I got my act together, helping other people, and I felt like I was walking on sunshine. You know what I mean? The reciprocal relationship of just like being in somebody's life and
Yep.
being there, be like, you're gonna get there, you can get there, and you absolutely can get there, but you need to understand it is going to be a dance out as it was a dance in, and it's a slow waltz out. And if you understand that, right, if you get that, then you can start moving on and just taking those little wins, man. Like you go down, you take a knee, right?
There you
So you
go.
need
There
to
you
be that
go.
one to get up and push
Yep.
yourself forward, right?
That's a good example. I like that with the dancing, right? You turn that into, the shoulder to hip kind of dance to, be a ballroom dazzling friggin'
Yeah,
predator kind of thing. Doing them spin move exactly right, and you're just
yeah.
gelling with people are looking at you, and you're on a whole other wavelength, and they're envious, just being like, how did this wait? How did you find that? How did you find?
Exactly.
Oh, I dug for it, bud. Don't you worry.
And that's what it is, man. It's like, like
Sometimes you
for
gotta dig deep when it's the hardest times and that could ever really be, and you got to really persevere, and you got to dig and pull yourself through.
100%, man.
What?
Like those are the times when you find those like those real gems. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The people that are really going to be beside you, the
yeah,
people that you didn't talk to for 20 years, and you're
yeah,
like, "Yo, what's your phone number?" And you get it in 5 minutes, and it's you didn't miss a minute. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, right?
and if you if again, like I'm fortunate, I know that because I've heard from a lot of people. It's like I don't have friends like that, or I thought I did, and blank, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And all I can say to that is like, you are your own universe, right? If you put out that you can't, you will not. If you put out that you can, you absolutely will, every time.
absolutely. Positive mental attitude, right there. That's exactly it. You walk around that frown upside down kind of thing, like that's just it. That's what you're gonna get for your feedback. Negative
Absolutely, man.
jargon,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Right there to junk mail, bud. Just
I
crap.
say it's like the quickest way to a feel good feeling is to kick somebody else down. Don't
God.
forget,
Oh
right?
yeah, of course, right? That's like a small town community. That's like a small town community rule right there, right? If you're feeling bad, let's do some gossiping.
What up? I see some people coming in. I apologize. Thank y'all for coming in, jumping in. This is my buddy, Mr. Wright, longtime friend. I brought him in, and all you all that are new friends and growing friends, thank you for coming. I'm sorry, I do have glasses on, but I still can't really see all y'all that are here. But absolutely, from me to you, thank you so much for coming out. And back to where we're at, man, is that no matter how dark it gets, no matter how down you might feel, you can jump on here like you did just now, right? You can talk to somebody like myself or the other 100,000 people that are out here doing this. Find somebody you connect with. Be authentic, okay? This is something that I've really seen in my time on this planet change. Is that when we were young, we were called like the weirdos, the whatever, the blanks. You can fill in your own. But man, my best friends are weirdos. And like that is the coolest thing ever. It's these terms and the separation and the differences that I find there's too much focus on. And if you can get back to who you are without all
Yeah.
the, the primp, so to speak, then you can really get somewhere. But like, it's taken many breakdowns, many rock bottoms. And that's a term that I really don't like to use that much, rock bottom, because every time I would get bounced back in and out of
Yeah.
whatever center, it was like you finally hit the bottom. It's like, nah, I'm still digging. There's deeper to go.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, yeah, but who's doing that, right? So, don't be too damn hard on yourself. This is a short ride. For if you don't know, tonight's a super moon and a solar storm, right? Of
Oh
some
my God.
sort.
I suppose, yeah, there you
Yeah,
go. So if
yeah,
you're,
man. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So get out there and take all that, blessing in and that manifestation part of it all. This is something that like I didn't understand for years, and kind of as we're rolling through this, it's kind of making more sense. And I was talking about this earlier with somebody else about, put that idea in your head that not I will, change it to I am, right? I am Shine Dig. I am Mr. Right. I am blank. Okay. And that I am is whatever you want to be, genuinely, authentically, all the way through. Because if you don't do that, right, there is a high probability that something will creep in and then convince you of what you are. And don't do that to yourself. If you do, and if you have, like myself, like many of the people that have come on, commented, follow these videos, know that it's okay. And yeah, you gotta deal with that minute. You gotta be in it, and you gotta be real with what you've done. If you got some apologies to make them. It's like I teach my son. These three things will get you further in life than anything else. Please, thank you, and I'm sorry.
hmm,
Right? Please, thank you, and I'm sorry. Know when to say I'm sorry, know when to thank, and know when to say please. Because things don't
yeah,
come easy, man. And for no
no,
one, man. And if we treat each other the way that we know we can, then
yeah.
all this can be better. It's
Mutual respect seems to be oblivious nowadays. Seems just from those three words right there.
yeah, yep,
And the easiest one of all three of those words is not sorry either, too. And it is not thank you. It is please. People love to hear the word please,
absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
right? You can even
And like and
it,
how
yeah,
hard is it
not
how hard is it to say? You know what I mean? Like how hard
mhm.
is it to add into your vocabulary? Which could be like a whole nother conversation, because that's something that's really rattling me. Is like all these like abbreviations of words that like I'm too old to
Oh my
understand anymore. And like I don't
acronyms are
want
just
to
insane.
understand.
No, I
Yeah,
know
I don't want to understand them either. But
take away all the good ones, but yeah, please, that's an easy one. That's
yeah, absolutely, man. And for us men, us guys, and I'm sure it goes for women too. But I know, myself, I can be stubborn as a mule when I want to be. And, that's always coming out on the people that are closest to you, man. That the people that are going to be there, that have been there, that will be there. So, you know, make sure, that you're working on that ability to not be so complacent, because time does bring complacency. And those people that have been with you for the whole ride, chances are they're going to be there for you for the rest of it.
your
So
day one
yeah,
brothers.
well, that's it, man. That's it. And don't if you can, try to stay away from that ideology of, because it's been so long, I just can't do whatever. Whether it's make a YouTube channel, whether it's to write a song, pick up a guitar, build a business, call a friend, have a conversation, do it. Because time is not something
Time
at least
escapes.
anymore that I really want to fool with or waste with, or you know what I
Nope.
mean? Look at it as an expendable commodity. I don't know what you think.
Yep. And the more you think about what you're trying to achieve or what your dreams and your hopes, right? There's the things. There's two different versions. There's dreams and then there's fantasies. I want to have a nice day and be able to live in it and have like a nice little like mini basement studio and kind of have like maybe a like nice little boys outside, just little things like that, right? I always thought those were like crazy dreams, but those are achievable. Fantasy is more like I'm going to live next to Chad Kroger out in Alberta with my super mansion and my 1,500 four wheelers. Like, that's probably not
Yeah,
going to happen.
yeah.
Fantasy, because Kroger sucks anyway. So why would I want to live next to him? But hey, you know,
Oh man.
you
Well,
always set the bar right. Like, you set your own bar. You set your own bar high. Set it so
yeah.
high that if you fell off that bar, you would die before you would even impact because your heart would explode. High.
or perhaps do a full 360 and land on your feet.
There you go,
Right.
right? If the bar is set so high that that would never happen, that when you come under short, you're like, oh my God, I made this bar. That's what I've
Uh,
taken in my experiences, right? I know it's a bad example saying it like that too, but
no, no,
but like,
it's not though. Like because like the other thing that we got to tie onto that is one's perception, right? It's like
yeah,
if it's how you perceive things, and like one thing that like I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of you for too, because like I think about like how we were when we were younger, right? It was like, what do you say, snap? Like it's like, let's go. And now it's like, no, 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 it's not worth that. Let's just lean
so
back
adult.
and see
Yeah,
where this goes, man. Like because those things that you're talking about, those are realities, right? And that's like uh, more like a dream is just goals that you're putting in place to attain, right?
it's that just your check. It's like your checklist of life experiences and life and doings, right? Like it
Yeah.
just it's gonna anyway. So you might as well put a smile on and shut up. But like you're gonna achieve it in some form of like absolute or not, right? Like you're either come close, you're gonna strike right out, or whichever, right?
Yep.
Having a
Yep.
crazy, like, like people nowadays have like we used to want to be millionaires and stuff. Now people wants to be like billion trillion oddnaires. It's just like I'm still good with the millionaire dream. How about that
Dude,
one,
I'm
right?
cool with that. I'm cool with it.
Me
I'm
too.
cool with
I
a
would
full
take that
meal.
any
Give
day.
me that.
Billionaire, like they writing songs about that now, and just like holy Jesus, how much money would
Well,
you
like,
need?
when you see like certain people paying like 900,000, I won't name any names for teeth. It's like, what's up with this? You know what I mean? What's up with this? But like, just to kind of get back on point, it's you know, there's going to be lots of great things to come for everybody. As long as you stay true to yourself, and
Absolutely.
if you don't know who you are, I mean, hey, that's okay too, man. Like, I'm still
Ask
figuring it out. I'm still
ask
figuring it out. Yeah.
that's someone close to you. Ask them what because ask them their opinion of you
This
because
is
that will
why we're doing this tonight. This is why we're
exactly.
doing this tonight because I could have come up here and been like, "Oh, no, I'm gonna bring somebody in that's known me a long time, and you can take away what you want to take away from it, because I truly believe authenticity will always pierce the veil. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it will do that for you too, man. Like whatever it is that you do it the best that you do. My old man used to say this. He's like, Shine, I don't give a rat's ass if you're a spaceman or a garbage man. You just be the best damn man that you can be.
You
And
said that derogatory, like a garbage man's a bad thing, man. He has an experience of a lifetime day, whether it's
culture.
a nostril smell or it's a visualization or it's a territorial dispute or
Yep,
the jungle
yep.
fever of the crazy raccoon wilder. Like, yeah, any, anything can be liberating almost, right?
Well, this is
Spaceman,
it. It's how
right?
you
But
look at it. You look at it as a cage or you look at it as an opportunity, right?
that's exactly
So, whatever your situation is, listen up. It's not always going to be, most of the times, shit, it's going to be hard as hell. It's going to push, it's going to try and crack, it's going to try and break. People are
it's
going to
gonna be
come,
yeah,
they're going to take,
exactly.
they're going to leave, they're going to come back again. You're going to trust them, they're going to do it again. Promise they won't. And then guess what? Whoop, did it again. So, eventually you got to slow down and go, okay, what part of this do I want for me? What part of it am I done with? And where is it I'm headed to? Right? That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
just just
exactly.
just keep it there. And then the in between stuff, again, I'll go back to my boy, man. Like, he's at that age now where it's like question, question, challenge, challenge, and I love it. I love a good challenge. Love good questions.
Yeah.
And I found, consciously having to be in my own mind to not respond how maybe I would have got certain responses. And it's funny how like that triggering I can do and slow it down enough and be like, my response to him in this moment is going to forever live with him.
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah, absolutely,
Forever.
absolutely.
Okay.
Change lives,
So
but you're like changing
yeah,
your own life.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, good or bad, right?
yeah.
So if I dismiss this question and brush it off like this is irrelevant, then what's going to end up happening is he's going to think that I think he's irrelevant, and then he's going to end up in some of the places I ended up in, right? So do the best you can every single day that you can.
I'm gonna get interrupted in a minute.
Don't worry
You're
about
almost
it. You got something coming in. That's
great.
fine. Do the best that you can every single day that you can, and that's really what you can do. If you're doing the YouTube thing, do what you can do on YouTube. If you're doing YouTube and work, like I think most of us are doing some other side hustle at least, make sure there's room in there for you. Okay. For me, a big part of that is my family, always family first. And that family is extended. Like I've said before in videos, a lot of the people that I call brother are not directly related to me by blood. One of them you're seeing right here tonight, which I'm getting the fortunate opportunity for him to have time to come in and just kind of sit down and hang out and do this with me. And then all y'all that are up in here tonight, checking this out, and the ones that will come to check it out. So we want to keep it short and sweet. Show business, keep wanting more, right? So, Mr. Wright, anything you'd like to say in closing, my friend?
Just I want everyone to remember that being angry and hateful is very easy to do, but being happy and joyful is liberating, and it's contagious. And your thoughts and actions and emotions can rub off on people in, in more ways than you would know. And you all keep it real because everything else in this life is real.
Oh boy. Oh, well, man, you all know the line if you know the videos. If you don't, you're about to know it. Keep on shining, baby. We out.